Yeah, welcome in
Yo,
on
yeah.
a Wednesday.
Oh.
Welcome in on a Wednesday. Clipper fans, please remember that. Entertainment purposes only. Always remember that. All viewers of the show, but Clipper fans, do remember that.
Oh, God.
Tyler, how you doing this evening?
I'm doing better than the Clippers, that's for sure.
I
No,
think pretty much everyone is.
yeah, I'm doing good. Having a good day. The Dodgers, of course, clinched the first team to clinch a playoff spot this year. It's always a good thing, especially after the Padres apparently won the championship on Monday, according to Padres Twitter.
They
Uh,
broke their spirit. There was no coming
yeah,
back for the
yeah.
Dodgers.
But no, it's good. Of course, we had the also happy had the Mandalorian season 2 trailer yesterday. Excited for that. The PS5 price release today, which I'll probably still wait a year before I get that. But overall, things are doing good, man. How you doing today?
First of all, what's the MSRP on that PS5? What's that looking like? I didn't see.
It was 400. Well, it's 300 for just the hard drive, just where you download everything, and then 400 if you want to get one that has a disk drive.
Ah, okay. I would do the 300. That seems reasonable. I thought you were going to say something crazy like 700 or something.
I was totally expecting it to be like $700. So when I saw the price, I was like, all right, I'm in.
I could put something on it. I mean installments.
Yeah, right. How you doing
That's
today, Ronnie?
encouraging news. I'm doing well. We'll touch on it in a minute, but still kind of in a daze from what we saw in the NBA last night.
Oh my
But
God.
otherwise, just a light work day. Not too bad. Got out of there on time. Had opportunity to sort of set up for the show. Always nice when I'm not just running straight from my car back to my tent fortress to set up. So all in all, a good day. But we only got 30 minutes tonight, so we are going to dive right into it. And both games last night, the big story was the NBA.
Yeah.
The
Oh
first
yeah.
game of the Eastern Conference Finals, the Heat and the Celtics, just a
So good.
classic game.
So good.
Just back and forth, two really well coached and just well drilled. These teams look like they're all in sync from top to bottom. So that was a great game. And just hold on, let me throw up the box score. The Heat did take game one, which our guy Jimmy Buckets. How great would that have been at post game if he was like, "I'm not here to talk about basketball. I'm here to talk about our new cold brew."
My true love. My
Yeah,
true love.
that's
Coffee.
basketball's my job, but coffee, that's my passion. That's what I want to do. So there you see the box score, and we did have overtime. Just a really good game back and forth. Jimmy Butler was just pulling shots out of everywhere. Hero was making some huge shots too,
Hmm?
and the Celtics would just answer back. They were up at certain points in the game, and then especially the third quarter, they sort of took over. The Heat came storming back, forced overtime with a very clutch shot by, once again, that man Jimmy Buckets, and also had one of the all-time plays you're ever going to see.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
Oh yeah.
just right at the death of the game. Just one of the best blocks. I mean, regardless of the context of the game, there's Tatum, one of the best players in the game right now, and the best young stars, and that ball is pretty much going in right there.
Yeah. Oh
I don't
yeah.
know how Adebayo doesn't just totally break his wrist off blocking that shot, but that definitely saved the game at that point, and the Heat go on and win that. I don't know how much of that you got to see, Tyler. I was watching it. Sort of flipping back and forth, waiting for the other game to start, and watching some of the baseball, the beginning of that. But man, what did you take away from that? I think we're gonna have a really just awesome series here.
Yeah, I mean, and that's not much of a surprise. I mean, we've said it so many times, especially the last week or so, is like these two teams have just looked the best. Like
Yeah,
in the whole playoff run, these two teams have looked the best. So of course it's fitting they're playing each other. I mean, that block at the end, like watching it live, I was impressed with it, but I didn't really see how close Tatum was to making that. And then I saw you saw the photo there. They had the phantom cam with the super high frame rate shot,
yeah.
where it was just like he was so close to making that dunk, and Adebayo with just an amazing block. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better ending to that game. And if that's just the preview of the series, then man, I'm all on board the Eastern Conference Finals. It is going to be an awesome series. I can't even really call it either way. Just both teams are playing so well. it's unfortunate that what we're going to be getting into soon kind of overshadowed what a great game and what a great inning that was. But no, I'm so psyched for this Eastern Conference final. It's going to be great.
I think this is going to be. I mean, this. Who knows? We've only seen one game, but it just feels like this is going to 7 games. Like this is just going to be a slugfest, and it's got to end that way. I just don't see one team just pulling away from the other the way they're both playing.
Right.
And I mean, just Tatum had a really good game. Also, he just got stuffed on a key play right there by Adebayo.
It happens.
30 points. Marcus Smart had a good game doing Marcus Smart things, which is basically just kind of trolling around. He got the illegal or the charge called on him when the Heat guy just got pushed into him, and he just goes flying like he got killed, and then makes the free throw, ties the game late. And then for the Heat, I mean, like I said, Hero was he only had 12 points, but he almost did fuck around to get a triple-double, which is kind of surprising. And Dragic also 30 points or 29 points. So, man, I just feel like this is going to be a really good series. It's probably, I don't know. We'll see what happens as we get into the finals. The Nuggets, who knows at this point? They're so hot right now, and they've won 6 elimination games in this whole playoffs, which is a record. So we could see fireworks there too, but I just think this series in particular is going to go the distance, and we're going to have more of these. I mean, not playing out the exact same way, but just really, really good games.
Every game ends on a big block. That's it.
Oh, another one.
That would be insane if every game ended on just some big defensive play like that.
Another one. So very much looking forward to that. I know the Heat have had a chip on their shoulder the whole time. The Celtics kind of too, even though they were, I think, the 2 seed coming in, but or the 3, I think, behind the Raptors and obviously the Bucks. R.I.P. And on a normal night, that would be the story the next day.
Dominate the headlines, yeah.
But that brings us to game 2 of the night, the Clippers and the Nuggets, and that. You know what? Actually, I want to touch on this. I
think it might.
I'm kind of leaning that way.
I think it might. Yeah.
I think it might. I honestly think it might, because I think this is like, we'll see what happens in the finals. Obviously, we're several games away from that, but this is like locked in a death match right now. I can already just see the writing on the wall. This is going to be a really good series, so I'm excited for that. Pat Riley has entered Darth Vader mode. Shout out to Jaime, who always with his check-in.
Always tailgating.
If you want to hit the link before shows and chat with Jaime, we will have that for you too, our faithful tailgater. But yeah, so Game 7 in the West, and there you see it on the box score. The Clippers. I don't know about the Clippers.
33 points in the second half.
Ooh. I don't know about the Clippers.
Oh.
They had 35 in the Game 6 in the second half and 33 in the second half of Game 7 to get into the Western Conference Finals. Yikes. This and they were up by double digits in the first half a couple times.
Again.
So it wasn't like the 15, 16 point leads that we saw before, but once again, get out to a big lead, it's almost kind of like, oh, now I feel like Denver's going to win it, because this is sort of the way it's been playing out.
Got them right where they want them.
And that is pretty much what happened. Same formula. Same thing. Just Jokic going crazy with a triple-double. With 22 rebounds also. Come on, Clippers.
Oh, my God.
Jokic. I am a big Jokic fan. I'm not going to lie.
Sure.
I love the Joker. He's 7 feet tall, but he doesn't, let's just say he doesn't really look super athletic. I'm just trying to be nice here. But the man is skilled. He can shoot. He can put the ball on the floor.
He somehow looked more athletic when he was bigger before he lost all the weight.
Yeah.
Like, I can't really explain that.
I thought the thing that perfectly summed up Jokic, just sort of his whole playoffs. I think he's got 6 triple-doubles now. But and it ended up being a foul on Patrick Beverley. Shocker. And so, there wasn't a scoring play there. But right at the end of the game, they were up. They're just trying to put it away. Jokic, pretty much at the free throw line, just does the behind, like, complete no look, like just whip it behind his head pass. That was awesome. Just dropped it right on him. And man, the Clippers, I don't know where you go from here, but this was a complete and utter meltdown. Uh, this was a team, like, we'll get into, actually, let's just pull that up. This was, kind of blowing everyone away last night when Playoff P, or as he shall henceforth be known, Pandemic P, uh, trying to save face, I guess, somehow, weirdly, uh, claiming that they never felt like this was a championship or bust year when, I don't know, they traded 5 first-round picks to get you, guy, and they also got Kawhi Leonard, who could have went anywhere. And he can also, as I pointed out on the sign, he can leave and go wherever he wants at the end of next season. So kind of feels more like it would have been a championship or bust type season, but it's kind of awkward there for that quote to come out.
I'm actually glad you put that quote up because I don't know if you have it up or not, but shortly after that statement came out from Paul George, of course, the internet, which is undefeated, dug up a interview he had on fadeawayworld.net from the end of June, so just 3 months ago, where his quote was, "It's a championship or bust season. Immediately, we expected to come in and win it all." So nice job, Paul George. It's amazing how much changed in 3 months.
You just can't ever age these quotes gracefully. And then some of the other post game quotes from the Clippers really point to some weirdness going on in that locker room. I know apparently today it came out that Doc Rivers is safe to keep his job. Although Tyler pointed out to me that has he blown a 3-1 lead and all that?
He's blown a 3-1 lead in the Bush administration, the Obama administration, and the Trump administration.
So, Doc Rivers, a coach, a man for all seasons. But
that's right.
That's an interesting little factoid. But yeah, we had Kawhi talking about we didn't play smart enough. We kind of just weren't hinting towards like they weren't on the same page. And then I think the most damning one was I saw Lou Will talking, and he said we had the talent probably to win the whole thing, but we didn't have the chemistry. Like he actually said that. So emotions are still kind of raw. You just got knocked out when you had a chance to get to the conference finals, but it seems like there's some crack showing there. And knowing that Kawhi does have the ability to leave and be a completely unrestricted free agent after next season, the clock is, beyond ticking. But it's going to be weird to see how they sort of, all right, take some time off. I know it was weird. We went to the bubble. We had to come back. We're playing later than we normally would, blah, blah, blah. Rest up, get your head clear. But how do you sort of reconcile? It seems like there's some weird divisions in that locker room. I don't know. It's just weird vibes.
It's just anything that comes out about why they had issues, whatever it is. It's like I can't really. It's weird because like you blew a 3-1 lead where you had double-digit leads in all the closeout games. Like I don't know
where to indicate a chemistry problem right off the bat. Like, can we not just blow a double-digit lead again?
Yeah, like 3 straight games where you blew a double. Like I can't. And they were saying like, oh yeah, players were like sucking wind and like after running on the court for 3 minutes. Like you've been playing basketball for 8 games plus a first round series plus a second round series. Like, what do you mean? You're like, I don't know if they're just like trying to come up with any excuse they can other than just like, hey, we choked. Like that's flat out. That's all there is. It's just you choked. That's all there is to it.
The weird thing too, as far as that point that you just made, is part of the when Kawhi was sort of shopping around, courting different teams coming after him, and everyone knows the Raptors famously last year did the load management thing where kept him fresh. He was their best player in the playoffs. Yeah. And I think he was looking for sort of similar type guarantees wherever he's going, like, hey, this worked for me. I'd like to kind of do the same thing. To the point where at the beginning of the season, the Clippers were a big mystery because everyone knew they had all this talent and they had put this team together. And they were still doing the load management thing, so you never really saw the full team. And it's kind of like, man, but when they start all playing all the time in the playoffs, this team's going to be for real. And the reports of them, saying they were kind of gassed out, multiple guys, when they've been doing this load management thing all season, kind of a head scratcher. I don't get it.
Yeah, it was just so weird. I mean, you can definitely put it down. Yesterday's game, look, nobody really showed up for them. I mean, we had our group chat with some of our closest friends going on during the game, and I thought just from what I saw, Pat Beverly was the only one that was playing well, and he was just playing well defensively. And you put it out, that's not even really like he's not a strong defensive player.
Yeah, Pat Beverly is just like a super. I mean, I could definitely see him being a Celtic someday, just like causing problems, doing whatever he can do to sort of get in someone's head. Just gritty, just messing with people. Good for him. He got paid by the Clippers. I still don't think he's a great defender. I don't think we ever had a chance to put it on the show, but there was a tweet I saw a few weeks back where, everything was still sort of up in the air as far as who's going to move forward. And I think it was a Rockets fan saying, I can't wait to see Harden give Pat Bev the cookout legs again in the Western Conference Finals.
That's right.
Basically like where you have the plate like this, but you don't have a table.
Yep.
And as he, famously broke him off last year. But, they seemed flat. I thought when Beverly came back, that's kind of sparked him a little bit, just because that is a guy that does play with a lot of energy, and he's always, chirping, getting guys fired up, getting everyone on the other team riled up, which, kind of gets your team going.
Sure.
But, I mean, especially from the two big guys, Kawhi and George, it was just not there. And it seemed like guys were sort of just checking out towards the end there, just like, I'm not into it, we're going to lose, whatever.
Like Kawhi, for the most part in the playoffs, has been Kawhi playing well. He didn't play well yesterday, which obviously you got to hold that against him. When you're supposed to be the best player in the game and you don't show up in Game 7, that's a problem. Paul George only showed up for a game or two in the entire playoffs. Other than that, he was awful. Which is a huge blow to the Clippers because they traded 87 first-round draft picks to bring him over. They're pretty much. I think they don't have a first-round pick until 2027, something like that.
Literally mortgage their future to get him on the same team with Kawhi. And potentially halfway through the super team because Kawhi still has options.
Right.
I don't know where this leaves you. It looks like it's kind of in chaos right now. I mean, they're going to have some kind of, come to Jesus type meeting before the next season and just like, hey, we got to do this because the window is closing a lot faster than we thought. But it's going to be awkward, sort of, when everyone gets back together, I think.
And the rumors already started going around that, Giannis might be going to the Clippers. Well, that remains to be seen. Obviously, I think we're a long way away before Giannis decides to either stay with Milwaukee or move on somewhere else. They may have to just pull a full-on, Warriors and just bring in one of the best players in the game to try and get them over that hump. Although the Warriors have won a championship before that, so it's actually it's just like I can't even explain it. It was just so surreal watching that. The first half they're up big, but even the whole time when they're up big, you're just like they could blow this any second they could blow this, and that's not something you expect from a team that has championship aspirations.
Yeah, I mean. At that point, the baseball game was still pretty much up in contention. I was flipping back, primarily watching that, and then just sort of keeping an eye on it until I got later into the game. Sure. I saw the Clippers had a big lead. Then I saw, they're coming back out from halftime. Nuggets only down by 2. Okay, this is going to get interesting. And then every time I'd flip back, the Nuggets just pulling away. And it was just like, man, what has happened in the interim? Because Clippers just giving up or what? I mean, it seems like with the talent you have, you should be able to at least win one of these 3 games in a row where you have these big leads.
And I do got to say, obviously everything's bashing on the Clippers, but all the credit in the world to the Nuggets. I mean, Murray, that dude has just been out of his mind this whole playoffs. Of course, Jokic, dropping triple doubles like it's nothing. I mean, the Nuggets have been awesome, and I would certainly hope the Lakers have taken notice of this ain't a team that we can ever kind of rest up on. Like, if you give the Nuggets the inch, they'll take that mile. And I'm really interested to see kind of how if the Lakers come out, like they've been doing in the game once and just kind of let the Nuggets run on them, or if they come out and be like, all right, like let's not even give them that chance. Let's just shut this down right off the bat because the the Nuggets can get scary, man. They can drop points like it's nothing.
And I was thinking about this last night too. I know, which we'll touch on here just in a second. A lot of Laker fans pretty happy about the fact that they don't have to play the Clippers and just sort of penciling themselves into the finals. Remains to be seen. And I'm sure, just face value, if you're the Lakers, I'd rather play the Nuggets. But I'm kind of thinking maybe after Game 6, almost you think that would have flipped over a little bit. Like, okay, the Nuggets are like here to actually like do this, and the Clippers are kind of like going through the motions right now. Even if they were to win Game 7, they kind of look vulnerable several times to get to that point. So at that point, maybe you would rather take your chances against the Clippers, but they're not going to be there. It was just an utter collapse, and sort of just. Oh, wait, that's what I wanted to do. Get to Jaime's comment here. Never been more afraid of a team like Denver. They're not wild cards or even a dark horse team. Is wild card and dark horse the same phrase? We'll have to check in with the stats and research department on that. But yeah, that's pretty much the point I was trying to make there. I just think they're, even before Game 7, the more dangerous team right now. The Clippers got some weird drama going on. We don't know the extent of it, and had just 2 pretty lousy performances to try to close out a game before that. So, yeah, maybe they come back like, oh, we made it, and they sort of galvanize. Who knows what could have happened? But at this point, I think the Nuggets would be a tougher, if you flip the coin and you're going to get the Clippers or the Nuggets still, and that's the next series, I'd rather play the Clippers. They just seem like they were out of it.
Yeah, so definitely look forward to that series. That one, of course, starts up. Game 1 for them will be on Friday. Game 2 of the Eastern Conference Finals will be tomorrow night. But I think kind of the big story, the big takeaway everybody knows. We love seeing the internet do its thing. We love seeing social media do its thing. And Lord knows, social media delivered last night on the Clippers. Just absolute disaster, Titanic, Hindenburg, whatever reference you want to use to the Clippers.
Twitter was ready
did its thing. Yeah.
And willing to run wild on the Clippers, and that's exactly what they did. I put together a little special presentation for you guys. Had it, fit it into this little kind of 2-minute window, so some of the cuts might be a little fast. If you have to go back, I'll repost the video later. But Twitter gave the Clippers the best funeral that anyone could do, as Twitter is wont to do. So sit back and enjoy. R.I.P. to the Clippers. Twitter just stuck the knife in, cut the head off, whatever you want to say. But last night was rough for the Clippers on Twitter. Oh, put them in a body bag. Clippers,
Oh my
maybe
gosh.
stay off Twitter for a while. Maybe just lay low, because there was some absolute savagery flying around. Now, some of those tweets mentioned too. I like the one with the blood and the crypt guy with the flags tied together. Laker fans and Warrior fans piling on. They both hate the Clipper fan base. Whoever out there still claims to be a Clipper fan. But, man, you had Dame Lillard just immediately going in at Pat Bev, whom nobody likes in the league. Kendrick Perkins,
great.
who played for
That
Doc
was great.
Rivers, piling on, and then just the floodgates. It just rolled downhill from there. Man, just that was brutal. But also, I was sitting back the whole time like, refresh.
Oh, I mean, you only had one of his tweets on there, but I was definitely watching my boy, the Iron Sheik, Sheiky baby.
Oh,
The whole
Iron
game,
Sheik went
he was
in.
just down on the Clippers. Like, he had probably like 20 tweets just ragging on the Clippers the whole night. He was just Sheiky baby. That's my guy right there.
I think he signed off again. He only tweets in all caps, but with "Good night, fuck you Clippers."
He also,
After
he
like
also-
the 50th
he also-
tweet about the Clippers.
he also only speaks in all caps too. So that's
True.
That's
That's
just
true.
his style.
Make you humble.
But yeah, pretty rough night for the Clippers on Twitter. That's for sure. That was I can only imagine all players just kind of like didn't bother checking their phones all
Just
night.
delete your account, whatever you have to do.
Just kind of turn your phone off.
Turn the notifications off, at least for Twitter. Just don't, or your personal accounts, just don't even look at it. It's not going to be good. And that was pretty spectacular to watch. I know I was texting the old radio station group chat as the whole thing was unraveling. The game ended. And multiple people mentioned, oh yeah, Twitter is made for nights like this. This is going to get ugly. And it did. And it was about 48 hours of just nonstop Clipper bashing. It was pretty great, though.
Hey, if you don't want it to happen, don't blow a 3-1 lead.
Yeah, with leads of double digits in every game.
Yeah. Well, guys, we're sorry we kind of spent the whole time in the NBA, but it was that was the most pressing story that came out of the last couple of days, and with the half-hour show, that kind of limits to what we can talk about. But we had to address it, and we also wanted to give credit, of course, to the awesome Eastern Conference Final Game 1. So, we'll have some more stuff for you on Friday. I don't imagine we'll spend a whole hour talking about the NBA, but who knows? We got a game between now and then, so we might.
Who knows? No, and like I said, I'll post the video if you want to go back and sort of, the cuts kind of, some of them you don't have a chance to read, but I will repost that I'll do it on YouTube and Facebook, so you can find it there. But thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll get back with you on Friday. Tyler, send us out of here in style.
That's right. Stick around here on the Quarantine Network. We've got Anti-Bev coming up right about now, actually. But you guys know the drill. As always, keep the fire.
Keep the fire.
At the buzzer.